05, 16, and 40.29. Repeat the levels again. 74 pivot, resistance 88, 96, 05, 16, 29. Support below at 67, 59, 50, 41, and 30. Good morning, everyone. We are trading mini S&Ps here, equity futures. We are trying to scalp the market based on the levels that we just gave out, in addition to any price action opportunities that might occur once the market paints some bars. The combination of both gives us our trades that we are looking for, and scalping the market based on the levels that we come up with. We don't show the levels on this chart, so simply because we might have to adjust them. They might be tweaked a little bit based on the price action. We'll have them we'll print them up in the chat box here in just a little bit, and so you'll be able to see them visually. I'll repeat them again one more time. The pivot is 74, resistance at 88, 96, 05, 16, and 29. Resistance at support at 67, 59, 50, 41, and 30. We'll print those up here in a little bit in the chat, so you'll be able to see them. All right. Again, we are trading equity futures, looking for opportunities to scalp. Right now, with the volatility where it's at, we're probably looking about 3 points, 4 points, depending on your risk tolerance. Everybody here has different risk tolerances, so everybody here can trade a little bit differently. And if you look at the chat, there are the levels. Glenn, thank you very much. Those are the levels that we're going to use as a guide to the day. And again, like I said, we can tweak those, we can adjust those, all based on the price action and where we could, where the market moves and how it moves and so on and so forth. All right. So market here, kind of nice little rally here over the past week or so. Kind of maybe coming up here against the 4,000 level and kind of taking a little bit of profit there on Friday at late afternoon. Again, the afternoon trade's different than the morning trade. We always focus more on the morning trade because it gives us better opportunities based on the methodology and dynamics that we use. The late afternoon trade becomes a little bit more one-sided, a lot more difficult to trade, but you can use the levels all the way through if you're going to trade late afternoon. Again, we are trading against or with volatility, and sometimes against it. All depends on the market and what's fundamental news might be released and why not be released. Let's see what this is a busy week as far as fundamental news is concerned. So, culminating with the Fed announcing their rate hikes at the end of the week here. Wednesday or Thursday, I think Thursday. They start the meeting on Wednesday and follow through on Thursday with the results. As we come down here to our 67 area, it's our first support area here. Again, if it's a little bit too volatile for you at the beginning of the day, first couple bars is always a little bit more volatile and riskier than the afternoon. A couple bars once we paint some bars. So it all depends on your risk tolerance and how you get into these trades and how you manage them. Everybody trades them a little bit differently, right? And you can scale into them. You don't have to scale into them if you're only trading one lots. How you get into your trades is totally up to you as a trader. Everybody here trades just a little bit differently as we come down here to the 67 area. Again, we're scalping the market based on the ebbs and flows and with the levels that we just gave out. As we quickly come down here to our first support level here at 67. Again, everybody trades a little bit differently, so scalping the market is totally how you enter, how you scale in, how you scale out. Those are all individualized things based on risk tolerance, and everybody here trades just a little bit differently. So you have to know your risk tolerance and trade them accordingly. We'll work in the 67 area here. Again, keep your stops in place no matter what. We don't, especially the first couple bars, especially on a Monday, right? First couple bars on a Monday, always a little bit more. You never know what they dream up of over the weekend. So keep your stops in place. And that way we don't get ourselves in any kind of trouble based on, extra volatility that might occur. And again, we cannot trade. We can't create volatility. We only trade it. All right. So we come down here to the 64 area and keep your stops in place. The next support level we have is down at the 59 area. Again, always a little bit more volatile. First couple bars of the day. We talked about this many a time. After weekend. After weekend. And we'll see what it wants to do. Next support level we have down here is 59. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We don't mind questions. Coming down here to the 59 area now. Again, not something that it's happening on a Monday with the volatility that's always in here. So as far as any economic reports are concerned, there are no numbers. Yeah, I took the support level there at 67, so kind of ran through, have my stop in place. Now I'm working the 59 area here. Again, we are that support, so we kind of traded through it, coming quickly down here to the 59 area now. Yeah, we're buying a support level. Again, we always have to be mindful of the volatility in the first couple bars, especially we talked about this all the time, and make sure you keep your stops in place. Work in the 59 area here. Again, we don't, we can only trade volatility. We can't create it, and that way we are always at the mercy of it, right? And you have to be mindful of that as you are trading. You don't want to get caught here with any one of these moves for no reason, especially since we don't have control over that. All right, work in this area down here. Again, just keep your stop in place no matter what. Doesn't matter what the deal is. It is. That's very good. You're absolutely right. It is falling quickly. Did I know it was going to fall quickly? Absolutely not. I wish I could have told you it was going to happen. No, but we believe in the levels that we have, and we trade them accordingly. And if we get stopped out, we get stopped out. That's just trading. We don't know that it's going to continue to keep falling or not. But whatever the situation is, we are always going to be keeping our stops in place so we don't get run over. And it's going to happen. Absolutely going to happen. And we also have to understand what type, what day it is and how markets are trading, especially after a long weekend. And there's always some extra volatility, and there's always extra volatility here with the first couple bars of the day. We are looking for about 3 to 4 points on our trades with the same amount of stoppage. So that's what we're looking for. And obviously, if we enter a trade against a nice area and we can manage it, you could probably take a little bit more than 3 or 4 points on these trades. But right now, with the volatility where it's at and the riskiness of the morning couple bars here, it's obviously not doable, at least for the time being. We're just trading whatever the market gives us, and sometimes it gives us good stuff and sometimes it doesn't. Right now, we're just trading through this little thing here. Next support level we have is down at 50. Okay. Again, we're not. Again, we look at the levels. We have good reasons why they're there, and then we trade. We're going to trade them, and obviously some levels do seem a little bit stronger than others, but we don't really try to weigh them that way. Right, market is coming down here again. A little volatility here, a little extreme here in the morning. We're in one-way trade, and we just got to just be patient here. Wait for the next support level down at 50. Right now, we've got resistance up at the 70. Our pivot there at 74. All right, so we got no economic reports coming out this morning. Market trying to bounce here a little bit. Arguably the most important week for Wall Street this summer with Fed decision and the GDP on tap. Earnings could actually end up determining direction. There are 175 S&P 500 companies set to report second quarter earnings, including 12 Dow. Big names this week is McDonald's, ExxonMobil, Amazon, Apple, Google, Meta. To date, results have been below par. Of the 21% of the S&P 500 companies reporting, 68 have topped expectations. That's below the 5-year average of 77, according to FactSet. The average beat of 3.6% is shy of the average of the 8.8 normal average. Earnings growth rate is improving, but would be the lowest since as the market here now finds a little base down there at the 54 area, and then popping back up here a little bit. We had 50, so kind of not there, at least not for the time being. Again, a little resistance would be up around the 74 area right now. It is important to dig into the earnings on sectors levels and take into account the concentration of profits in the big names. So far, positive surprises have been the norm in most sectors, said some analysts from Citi. All right, so big earnings week this week, big fundamental news this week with the Fed and the GDP. Obviously, GDP they're looking at because of the possibility of the recession, 2 consecutive quarters, or that's the old way of looking at things. There's always many ways of looking at how you calculate or figure out if we're in a recession or not. As we come quickly back up here, as the market here giving us a little bit of a rotation here off of what they got down to 54 area and then decided to stop there for us. So unfortunately, we're not going to be perfect every time. And obviously, it got stopped out here a little bit. So it's all right. It's going to happen. It's part of the trading. If you did manage to stay long there, good job. But I mean, I got stopped out. So look for the next chance we get whenever we get it. Right now, the resistance would be around the 74 area. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. All right, market up here, rotating there off the 54 area, 53, coming back up here a little bit. So no economic reports coming out this morning. Don, you there? Do you think you can jump here in about half an hour? I gotta have another appointment. Gotta get ready for I gotta do all these goofy things today. Okay, thanks. Okay, market rotating back up here, looking at 74, a little resistance. Otherwise, if you're not going to do that, we're looking at the 88 as our next support resistance level that we have. All right, chopping around here a little bit for a level down at the 50 area. Again, got down to um, 53, so a little bit careful there around 50 if we get back down. All right, seems like we've got a little bit of a range here. All right, market just kind of slowly upticking here, looking at 74 area now. A little bit of resistance. Otherwise, if you're not into the price action opportunities, look at the 88 level above. All right, no, unfortunately, we're just chopping around now a little bit. Had that early morning shift and volatility. And again, we always talk about the first couple bars being a little bit more tenuous and a little bit more riskier. And it happens every now and then. There's obviously a risk reward situation involved there. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And today, obviously, didn't really do too well. But it is what it is. All right, Mark, continues to uptick here. Next, coming back up to our pivot area, and next little resistance on the upside is up at the 88 area. Right, a little bit of a rotation here against the 74 area. If you jumped in there, we talked about it being a little bit of resistance coming back up here. Nice little trade there if you did jump in. All right, nice rotation there against our 74 little price action opportunity there. How you doing there, Don?
I'm doing good. How's the team holding up?
Well, we're holding up. Well, my one kid who has COVID is out of COVID restrictions, so he's back today. We have practice today and tomorrow. I mean, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. So this is it, home stretch.
Excellent.
Going to be interesting for sure. My problem is I only have 7 players. That's my only problem. You know, they're going to be all working hard. Nobody can complain about sitting on the bench. That's not happening. They're all good kids, though. I have to admit. You know, sometimes you get a group of kids. You know, you get sometimes once in a while kids that don't listen or got a little chip on their shoulders. But this is a good bunch. They do what they're supposed to do. They listen. They're coachable. So that's all you can ask for from a coach. And then as long as you try, as long as they try 100%, you're not going to win all games because other teams are just going to be better than you are sometimes. It's really that simple, but you can try. As long as they can try, we'll be happy.
Do you have a bench warmer at all?
Not at this group.
Oh my goodness.
Not with this group. This is going to be they're all going to be playing because, I mean, 7, and especially our type of game, we're going to be like running up and down the court because we don't have too much height. So we're going to be like basically running a lot. And, you know, we're going to be switching one guy. Let's go. Give him 2 minutes rest on the bench, switch him up for somebody else, let him have a quick rest and go on. That's all we can do. Yeah, that's all we can do. So it is what it is. They have to. The kids know, though. I mean, they understand. It's going to be a challenge. You know, I mean, I had to take my one kid. I had 9, and my one kid who was a great one of my better players actually. He's only in was only in eighth grade. He was 14, but this kid can play. I mean, he's probably would have been one of my better kids on the team. I don't know where he got his talent from, but I went to scout somebody else and I saw this kid and I asked him to play and he signed on and he was good to go. And then he realized that he has to go to camp and he doesn't want to, the week that we're going away, he couldn't miss camp. He had to be at camp that week. So he unsubscribed. It was unfortunate. And then I had another kid we signed up who was just a head case, and unfortunately we had to, his true colors came out in practice one day and we just said, you know what, you are going to be a problem for us and we're not going to deal with it. We don't want to deal with it over there in San Diego. We'd rather deal with it here.
Yeah.
And so, and then I tried to get somebody else. We had like 2 weeks to find two players and, it was already late in the process and a lot of kids already committed to other things and I couldn't find anybody else. It's very frustrating. But we had, there's always, we'll see what happens. San Diego, we can't complain, right? It's beautiful.
I can't believe he gave up a trip to camp versus a trip to San Diego.
Well, he's really young. He was in eighth grade when I saw him. So next year is going to be a freshman. Usually I have varsity players, but this kid was I don't know. I got lucky that I found him. I went to see another kid play to scout another kid and I saw this kid and he was young. I didn't really expect to find anybody when I went to see that game. And I see this kid and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And he was great. I mean, he jumped on right away. This is the Maccabi games at the JCC in Chicago. So they have they go to different cities every year. It's like an Olympic style type of games there's all kinds of, there's track and field, there's baseball, soccer, all kinds of different sports and we just go to different cities every year and we're going to San Diego this year and this will be our first time since obviously COVID. We haven't had the games in 2 years. We've been doing it for a long time. Go for a week and obviously San Diego I'm going for a little bit longer. I'm going on Thursday instead of usually I go on Sunday. And kind of maybe I'll see our little friend there. I have to call him. He's supposed to meet me. I don't know. It's a little bit of a ride for him. He lives a little bit up north, so we'll see if he does show up or not. Anyway, so I have to go get a PCR test because I need to get cleared before I go. Hopefully I'm not sick. And that's the other thing. All the kids have to take a test, right? And if some of them, if they show up to the airport and they are positive, they can't get on the plane. And so, I mean, I have the same problem. I have to go get tested now and see if I'm okay, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully I'm all right. I don't feel fine, but who knows? So we'll see what happens. I mean, not only do we have to worry about only having 7 players, I got to worry about all of them getting on the plane.
Man.
So, and I got to get on the plane. So we'll see what happens. Until I get on that plane, we'll see what happens. Anyway. All right, so we had a little rotation there against the 74. That was a nice little trade, a little rough morning. And but at least got a little bit of money back there. And then they just pop it right back up. I don't know. They're probably going to be in a range, I guess, this week. If you look back, this is the same range. Friday was a little bit of a hiccup there, but then comes right back into this range, maybe consolidating here a little bit. Who knows? We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Are you looking down at 63? My computer crashed. Oh, great.
No.
That's not good.
No, I was looking for it to get back to that 58 area, but I'm out at 63. I'm going. Yeah, I've been sitting here short from that 73, 74 area.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah,
going,
good.
that's enough.
Right. We had a little resistance there at 74. We got a little bit short there, and that rotation back to the 74 area. I said that there was going to be resistance at 74, and it rotate all the way back from 53 up to 74. Again, it's just a matter of being patient, waiting for opportunities there. I mean, we did get run over on our first support levels, and then made a little bit of money back on this rotation off of the 74. So patience is important. I know it'd be easier if we had a couple quick trades, made money, and said, "See you, get back here tomorrow." But sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
I tell you what, I don't know how it is around there, but around here, people are catching COVID like they're catching colds. It's everywhere.
No, I agree. It is everywhere. But they're not getting
hospitalized.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so that's a good thing.
And people are saying, well, if you had this symptom and that symptom, you probably got it. And I says, in that case, I've had it for years.
Right. I know, right? Yeah, I know. I mean, I think some people might even have it and not even know it because their bodies handle it differently. Not everybody handles it the same. I know a couple of my friends got it, and one of them got it very easily and got over it in 3-4 days, and another one it's been a week and he's still, feeling some symptoms. So everybody deals with it differently. I don't know, your body deals with it differently. We got short there at 74, just in case you were asking, and a nice rotation off of that 74 area. Did not take any heat on it. I got up to 4.5 and then rotated back down, so not a big deal. Yeah, so I'm just hopefully we get on the plane.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to go take this, and it's really. You got to go take a test and you have to see what the test comes back, and all the kids have to do the same thing. It's like very annoying.
Yeah, it kind of takes away from having to concentrate on what you should be concentrating on.
Yeah, exactly. So
how many of these things have you been to over the years? Several, haven't you?
Yeah, this is my 20 years that I've done this, but I've gone and I've had other tournaments. I've coached 50 is risky, riskier. Yes, I would say it's riskier than it was earlier. So manage it the right way, right? So if you're going to trade 5 lots, maybe trade 2 lots, maybe lower your entry point a little bit, just adjust it a little bit, but just keep in mind it is riskier. Yeah, so I've been to there's 20 for this, this summer thing where we go away, but I coached during this season. I coached at high school. I coached at high school a few years back, and so I've been in basketball for forever.
Well, is there something that you do before, like you're going to go to one of these tournaments? Is there something that you like to do to psych the kids up?
Well, when you go away to San Diego, there's really not much they have to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going away, tournament. They understand. You talk to them about what needs to be done to be able to succeed in the tournament, because it's 4 days of basketball, 2 games a day, and it's a different type of game situation than it is like at school where you have one game at the end of the day, practices. So we kind of coach it's a different kind of coaching than it is for like a regular basketball season. So We tell them that at the beginning, and we tell them they have to trust us a little bit. And as long as the team buys and trusts us and does the things that we expect them to do, because we do things a little bit differently, then we're okay. If they buy into the system, we're great.
Yeah.
And most of the time, since we've had a little bit of success, they do buy into the system, and it's great. Once they buy into it, they're great. Everybody does what they're supposed to. Obviously, you need talent. You need the kids to be able to have a little bit of talent to be able to do the things that you want them to do. But see what happens. Does this choppiness is untradeable. We're talking here more than trading. And we have to pick our spots. Like I said earlier, we average about 4 or 5 trades during the morning hours, and that's an average. We've been very volatile over the last month or so, where we've had obviously a lot more than that. But lately, over the last week or so, it's been definitely within those ranges of 4 or 5 trades, even less than that. So definitely picking your spots and waiting for opportunities there, Christopher, is very important. You're right. And I call this choppiness. You call it untradeable. It's kind of the same thing. When it chops up and down, goes nowhere fast. It is untradeable. It's hard to do. You have to at least reach 74 area there initially, which give us a little bit of a rotation. Otherwise, right now, this is pretty much pretty quiet. Really, our next resistance area would be up around the 88. That'd be the next level that I'll be looking at. And on downside support, we got down to 53 and change there. The 50 is the next level that we have. It's probably a little bit risky based on how the price action was. So I would be a little bit careful around there. But I don't know. We might just stay in this range and do nothing, right? Unfortunately. But that's just the day it is, and obviously every day is different. So, all right. All right, Don, I've got to take off. So
Okay.
This is Don. He's been with me for a long time, and he helps me out here when I have to leave a little early. If you have any questions as to methodology or anything, you can ask him. He's been, he understands everything that we try to do and try to accomplish. So, all right, Don, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. Take
Thanks.
care.
Thank you.
Good morning, all. We're just trading here at 68. I'm not seeing anything. Can you explain why you think the 50 is more risk? We've already, Christopher, we've already been down to, what did we get down to? 54. When we get to, I had a 53 this morning. And let me see, where are we at? Our Globex low last night was 51. 51 and a quarter, I believe. So it doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It's just that it means that, look, we've made a stab at it and we didn't get to it and it bounced off of it. So the question you have to ask yourself at this point is okay, is there more support a little bit higher up that's stopping it there? And or if we break that support that may be at 53, are we going to run real fast through the 50? We don't know that. But usually once we get close to a level, we're within 4 points of that level. When we look at what's going on now, we've been in a somewhat downtrend since this morning of the open. So we're just using a lot of it depends on your risk tolerance. There was a clean bounce at 54. I had 53 down there, and I've got an order sitting at 53, and we didn't make it. So the question I have to ask myself, okay, did the 53 was it holding so much support that everybody front ran it and jumped in at 54? I can't tell you that. It just okay. But my 53 level now, since we've been to 54, is now for me. It's going to be null and void. I mean, we're trading below our open. We traded down to 59. I was looking for this market to come on down to that 58 area, but our pivot this morning was what, 74. So you ask about the 74. So we got short at our pivot. That was a level. Plus, I already had looked down and said, okay, we should get back down to the 58. So I sat in it for a little while and we got down to 63. And I says, hey, that's good enough. I got out. This is okay. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can get some numbers posted here. I don't know, Glenn. Can you stick the numbers back in there again, or do you have them? If not, I will get to them. It's not a problem. It's going to take me a minute. There you go. Thank you. All right. Let me stick them in there one more time. There we go. I've got them on speed dial now, so if anybody needs them, I can give them to them. And we're coming down to that 58 area. We got down to what, 58 and a quarter. I hate it when it comes within one tick of where I want it to go. There's a lot of trades that go on during the day. What we give out here in the mornings are our levels, our areas that we expect the market to react from or to. There was I'm hesitant to tell you this because it's my bad habit, but it is a trade. And each and every one of you out there, unless you just strolled in the room and you have no idea what trading's about, we are here to scalp the market. We're not here to buy and hold. We're not here to sell and hold. We're here to either buy something or sell something. And if we're wrong, we get stopped out. We go to the next trade. There is trades that I learned not from other, I've taken a lot of other courses. I'm sure other people here have too. And I like those trades. They've seemed to always work, so I keep them for me. It's not that I'm being stingy with the trade. I guess what I'm saying is I've got my little repertoire, my toolbox, so to speak, that I keep. It may be anything. You can say a head and shoulder pattern. Well, that's a trade. If you like to trade it, it works. There's continuation trades. I mean, the list is, and some people get really, some people focus on one or two things, and that's it, and that's all they trade. And they're patient enough to sit around and wait for that opportunity to happen. And this morning, before 8:30, that opportunity happened. And so I took the trade. And I was looking for a 64 area for it to come down to. Well, it did that plus more. It went to 54. Of course, at some point, you got to say, okay, I've had enough. I've made money. Get out of the trade. But I mean, we come in here every day. We get our numbers. Saul gives them out. They're if you stay in this room for any length of time, you pay for the room, which is not. And I'm not a paid person here. I'm just a student, like a lot of other folks in this room. I've just been around him a long time, and my numbers are not exactly on top of his, but they're close enough that I've learned to. And he told me this when I first started with him and first took his class. He says, the only difference between you and I is that I believe in the numbers. And it's kind of like what he was talking about earlier about coaching basketball. You have to buy into this program. You have to believe in what we're doing, that it's going to work. And then you learn to put these trades on, and you don't have to take his course. You can pay the monthly subscription fee and get the numbers, and you don't even have to know how to get the numbers. You can just trade the numbers. This man has done this. He was a floor trader before this. He was down in the pits, and he's made his living scalping the market. And it's not to say that he didn't make a lot of blunders on the way, because he's like everybody else. He's human, and he did. And he tells you about these things. Don't do that. And I still do things that I shouldn't do. I'll be the first one to tell everyone. And sometimes I think it's going to do something, but there's only one caveat to that, is that I can't tell you when it's going to do it. Usually it does it. It may take it 2 or 3 days to do it. So when you get into a trade, if you're thinking that way and the trade's going in your direction, then you just have to manage the money. But at some point in time, if it's going against you, you got to make up your mind, how much can my account stand before I get out of this? And I can tell you, you can do whatever you want to, but I can honestly tell you, your money ahead if you just get out of the trade early. Even if you took a 10-point stop, it's better than a thousand bucks. It's just 500 is a whole lot better than 1,000. 300's better than 500. And so, and the thing about it is, we look at it like there's no other trades, but there's tons of trades. They're kind of like streetcars. They run 24/7. There'll be another one along in a minute. We'll catch another one. But you have to be patient to wait on the side of the street until the streetcar gets there. Then you take it in the direction it's going. That is simplistic at its easiest, but it's probably the hardest thing to do, because we're sitting here in front of this thing and we want to trade. We're ready to get after the trade. Well, if you want more trades, dial it down. I mean, drop into a 1 minute time frame. There's a lot of trades there, but don't look for huge trades. You're looking to scout the market. Now, unless you trade on a 1 minute chart and you're used to a 1 minute chart, I would tell you to stay out of that pond because it will eat you up. Okay, we finally made our 58. We're coming on down to that 54. Now we're going to get to see how the 50 is going to hold. Just remember, there's nothing wrong with trading the 50. You just have to realize that that we could run through it. But we coming down. So see, we stopped at that 51 and I had 53. So and I don't need to take it. I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. I'm just kind of answering questions. Basically, I'm done. There's no sense in putting my money at risk anymore. I'm happy with what I made today. But we can't make what the market won't give us. Well, that's kind of personal. How much did you make, Christopher? I'll tell you this. I've had 14 trades today. Well, excuse me. Let me redo this. That's wrong. And for me to trade 20 times, it's not a whole lot. But you made money. Unless you lost a whole bunch before you made that. I've had 6 trades today. And I made money on all 6 of them. Let's just say 20 plus points. You're going to get it when you come into this new and you start off. You're gonna and two is the market conditions make a. We had a good reason to take that 74. It netted 10 points. I had already taken a 58. And I had an order also sitting at 53 because I knew the 58 didn't hold and I was going to have to take the 58. And it stopped at 54. I did not get filled at 58. I got filled at 58, but I did not get a fill at 53. And, when I got back to 68, I bailed the trade. So 2 trades, 10 points apiece. Now, I'm not bragging. It just worked out for me today. There's days that it doesn't. I'll be the first one to tell you. I get slapped in the face a lot. The 50 is holding. Now that we're down to you were asking, well, I try and go to the tick, but these are areas that we're looking that everybody should be jumping in this market at. Now, what we will do is we will fade that 50, meaning that depending on the market conditions and the volatility, we're running about a 23.75 VIX right now. We may fade this thing anywhere from a half to 3/4 to even 1 point. But even 1 point wouldn't have got us in that trade. So like Saul said, that 50 is more suspect now. We might have been in at 49, 49.50, or even 48. depending on the how it's the price action is when we're coming into this level, we're watching it. But now that we've been down within 1 point of it, or pretty close to 1 point, that 50 becomes even more suspect. The probabilities that it's going to hold are less than what they were when we originally got to it. So, and basically that's all we're doing. We're dealing in probabilities. So now knowing just that little phrase, the 50 becomes more suspect. The probabilities are going down when we get there. Okay, now it falls into your camp. What are you going to do as a trader? Are you going to trade that? Is it too risky for you? You know, I have learned this about the system. When I first started with Saul, and I took his class, and I was going through it all, and I'm going, okay, I write the numbers down every day. I would write these numbers down. Then I went back and I would, I didn't put on a trade for a month. Now we've got some resistance back up there at 68, 69 right now. Like I say, it may stop here and just, keep on going. And probably give you a better answer in probably about 20 minutes. That's what this thing might do. And basically I took and I wrote the numbers down, and I didn't have I had a 5-minute chart or a 1-minute chart or whatever. Anyway, I scrolled back 2 or 3 months in time. And I said, okay. And my criteria was, okay, it had to go at least to the tick. Like if I had the 50, my order would have been sitting at 50. I would have had a 2-point stop and a 2-point target. No questions asked. That was the criteria: 2 points and 2 points. And did I get stopped out? Sure I did. But after I went through every one of those things, if I went down to like the 50 and it didn't get, it went to 50 and a quarter, you didn't get filled, you didn't get, I set the levels exactly the thing. I wasn't fading the trade or anything like that. And I was trading one lots. That was my criteria. I said, okay, I want to know how much, how well does this thing work? Well, and I've had other students do the same thing, and they probably did a better job of it than I did because they were programmers. They knew how to back test. They did all of this, and theirs was just a little bit higher than mine. But on average, it works about 72 to 76% of the time that you're going to be profitable. Well, that doesn't sound too good. Then we leave 30-something%, we're wrong. But I promise you, if you go to Vegas and you're a casino, you'll take those odds all day long and make money. If you can control your risk, you can be right less than 50% of the time and still make money. Yeah, but it now keep in mind, this has been several years back that I did this, and a lot of it, we can go along and we can say take a week. We may have one or 2 days a week that we get hit, and then we go a week and it just everything's working perfectly. Then all of a sudden we get run over on the first 3 levels, just boom, boom, boom. We think, dad gum. But you just, and when Saul comes in the morning and gives these levels out, the orders are already in the market. They're in the market above it. They're in the market below it. They're just sitting there. So basically, you get the numbers. You're sticking the orders in, and the order goes in. If your orders filled, your stops filled, and your targets filled, and that's all there is to it. You're either gonna make money or you're gonna get out. And so it does kind of like take a lot of the emotion out of it. Well, that's good to know. I'd say somewhere between 72 to 75%, 76%. It but it just and then and even if that, I may have 10 trades today and all 10 of them might have been profitable. Yeah, it is. And that, Saul tries to tell everybody that, look, keep your stops in. We don't know where this thing's going to go. And we never know when there's going to be a tweet from somebody out there and send this market flying one way or the other. But when you trade like that is we come in the mornings, we try not to bring in a bias on this direction. Oh, we're going to be down today. We're going to be up today because these numbers and that numbers, we're all doing this. Hey, that may be so. And it may go up, it may go down. But as a trader, the best approach is look, we don't know, we don't care. If there's no news, and now keep in mind, yeah, well, a 1-to-1, we're right now in this market, we're looking at about 4 to 5 points risk to reward. But you have to wait. You have to wait until you can find a spot to get in, and then you have to, the most important thing about any of this trading is if I get in at this point, first and foremost, where am I wrong? What, okay, I'm wrong here. Is that too much risk for your account and your size? Not knowing how everybody is in this room is responsible for their own accounts. And like Saul says, we can give you the numbers. We can tell you what we're doing. But the question is are you going to do what we're doing? And the thing about it is are you going to do it? If you believe in that position, and we jumped on board, and where are we wrong? The 6, and a good example is that down there at the 63 area. I believed in the 63. I did not take it, but I believed in it. And if I hadn't have been ahead like I am now, I would have probably taken it with a 50 out. That was almost 10 points run there. So but at some point in time, you're going to sit there and say, okay, well, I'm just mechanically doing 1 for 1. Well, even if you do 1 for 1, I know there's people out there say you got to make 1.5 for every one that you lose. 1.5 times much. And that's great theory, but you got to also look at what we're doing in this ES market. We're here to scalp. We're not here to to get 10-point runs. Now, it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, but the only thing is after you're in a trade and it starts going with you, or you're going with it, the only thing you can do at that point is manage the money. And, for me, I'm willing to look and say, okay, where do I think it's going to come down to? Well, all of a sudden it shot down there. I'm going, it's not there yet, but I know that it'll get there, but I'm going to go ahead and get out. And it bounces back up in a certain area. I'm going to get in again, and my stop's going to go above that high. I'll do that. So I'm liable to take a 5-point run and trade it into a 10 or 12-point run. But we can't, like Saul says, like he was talking earlier about training those baskets. It's kind of like training traders a lot. We have a system that we use. There is more trades than what the levels are trading. There's a lot of price action trading going on. There's also in my toolbox trades that I've taken that I was taught from other people in other classes. And so I'll be the first one to tell you, he said, look, I'm not trying to tell you not to use the tools that you've learned. He said, I'm here to make you a better trader. And a lot of it is sitting around and waiting for that right spot. But you watch these levels long enough, and there's so many days that the number is on the money. That was the low of the day or the high of the day, and it's kind of like, we can say what they want to, but the numbers don't lie. Yeah, it does happen though. If we have two losers in a row, Terry, but I remember one day I came in, I sat down, and I was putting the levels in, and it opened up, and it ran through 3 levels before I could blink an eye. But at that point in time, in all fairness, our levels and our volatility was down. Our levels were probably 5 points apart. Man, it jumped up, popped 30. Yeah, it jumped up and popped a 30-point push straight up. And those are the things that you can't control. Those are some people call them black swans. It's kind of like, whatever the reason, we're coming up back into we got a little resistance up here at the 67, 68 area. We got a blue band laid in there. So if you were able to take that blue band trade and you were able to get in at that 67, I don't know how many were filled up there, but we did touch it. This is another trade that we have. It's called the blue band trade. Matter of fact, this is the second one. This would be, but if you took it, you made money. At 74, we had 2 reasons to take the 74. We had a lot of reasons layered on top of why we should take this trade. And so it's just learning those reasonings. Like every other trading system out there, you're going to have to go through, learn the system, get comfortable with the system, and then just trade the system. And then, but if you start changing the system, you're going to get different results. Now, that may be better and it may be worse. We don't know. But that's where every individual in this room has the capabilities to do the same thing. It's just that we may see something different. The fear level may jump up in us and I made 2 points. I got to get out. Well, there's nothing in there says it says you got to learn to manage the money. The blue band trade is it's a trade taught in Saul's class. I can't give out the particulars, but uh, if you notice that on his chart that the market went back to the blue band, and the first time to it, which was up there at 74, we bounced off of it, and it bounced off good. Uh, we went to it went to 67. It bounced again. Yeah, we got down to what, 65 and change. So it's just in a lot of these trades you won't be there long. I don't know what we don't. If you notice it, we don't have any MACDs on. We've got a Bollinger Band up there, and the blue band is the center of that Bollinger Band, and the red bands they're just there for show, and the green band is just a 200 period moving average. Now, with that said, I've got the Bollinger Bands on my charts, and I don't know how to use the outer bands for anything, so I colored them white so I don't have to look at them. I mean, basically, you can give me two moving averages, that blue one and that green one, and really and truly, the green one is just plus or minus. It's times and reasons to trade off of it. But I've learned to trade from this is yeah, the center of the blue band is actually the center of the Bollinger Band. That's all it is. There's nothing fancy about it. I mean, you look at all three of these charts that Saul's got up there, and the it's just a simple Bollinger Band, like a simple 200 period moving average, and that's it. And the rest is price action. But the thing that I like about it is I don't have 50,000 indicators to look at. I'm looking at a few things, a few areas that we should be expecting reaction from. And if it happens, whether it's in this index or it's in a stock or what, if it's got a chart, price is king because that's what it's doing. And if you think it's doing something, then you trade it. Then you have to know, okay, if I get into a trade, where am I wrong? That, to me, that's the most important question of all. Where am I wrong? So with these trades at these levels, we know that we're probably running a 4-point stop, 5-point stop. Depends on whatever you're comfortable with. If this thing has a lot of volatility, we're liable to blow through a level 3 or 4 points, then turn around and come back up and go 5 points above it. But right now, with this market, it's kind of tame. I think everybody's kind of waiting toward the end of the week till the Feds make some big move. I'll be right back. Does anyone trade the NQ? We we don't. We give out the numbers uh, for the ES. You can do the same thing over in uh, you just learn to figure out the numbers and do the same thing over there. This is the stops could be bigger. Uh, uh, I would say, yeah, Terry. I mean, what we do here is just these are areas on a chart. You can call them support and resistance that we expect the market to react off of or from. Uh, yeah, I agree with that. I think there is more action in the NQ. Uh, yeah, they just. I mean, that's where most of the traders are at, are in the NQ. Uh, me, I drifted into this ES many years ago, and I just like it. I just, I like the idea. Look, I can make $50 in 4 ticks. I'm only going to make $20 in 4 ticks over the Nasdaq. Of course, there's nothing to get I have to get twice as many ticks, but it moves around more. It's the swings are. What am I trying to say? Bigger the volatility would be more, I guess. Uh, but for the last several months, when you go back and you look at this morning at 8:30, this market has moved quite a bit. We've gone from up around that 73 area all the way down to the first run was down to 54, and the next one was down to 51. So there's been several really nice swings in there. And so when you look at these swings and you look at our levels where we had levels already set before the market even opened at 8:30, they were pretty good areas to jump in this market on. Now, if you're going to jump in this market for if you're trading multiples, it's not much of an issue because you could have bought the 54, you could have bought the 50, 55s, 54s, and you could have been wrong at 50. But you can buy the multiples. You jump up in this market here. Usually, you can get 3 points pretty easy off of a level. Get usually 2 points. Now, if we run through a level, you can't get what it won't give you. So you're going to get stopped out. Well, that trade's gone. It's happened. You're going to move over to the next one. But if you had multiples and say you got in at a good price and it ran up and you went 3 points above and you took profits on one. Now you got decisions to make. Do you move your stop within 3 points of your entry? And if it comes back down and takes you out, do you scratch the trade? Or do you move it up to your entry? There's just at that point, it is your preference, what you think you've made enough or something like that. If it goes to 5 points, are you willing to get out or are you just willing to move your stop? When I say multiples, I mean more than one contract. Like, for instance, the 50 area. Say you're trading normally Saul uses the example of 3 contracts. But that 3 contracts can be 2 contracts. It can be 1 contract. There's not, but if you had 3, you may have scaled in one at say 50-50, another one at 50, and another one at 49-50. And when this thing starts moving, as you will see in if we drop down to that 49-50, then all of a sudden it jumps up. We're probably the 50 is going to be our entry zone there. We got 1 above, 1 below, and 1 at. And so, once we get to 50-52, we're looking to take off 1, or 52-50, and it goes up to maybe 3 or 4. We're looking to take off another one. And at that point, you're just managing money. You're in the green. You're just, okay, I look at it and going, you know what? This thing ran 4 points. I'll take 4 points on 3 lot all day long. Or just say it ran 4 points. I'm out at 2 for sure. Do I feel lucky today? Usually, unless I have some area that I'm trying to get back to or something like that, I'm taking my money and running because, I made money on the trade. Trade was good trade. I don't have a problem with that. We're here to do one thing: scalp the market and make money to stay green so we can come back tomorrow and do it again. And this is all we do day in and day out. We're not looking to make 50 points on one trade. If it doesn't mean that every now and then there won't be home run. You're going to hit a home run. But, we don't know that to start with. And the only way to stay in that home run is once you've hit the ball, they start running the bases and running the bases. I mean, you're keeping your stops. You got to have an area. Okay, I got 10 points in this trade. Okay, I'm not willing to give all 10 points back to them. I'm willing to give 5 points to move my stop up. And then you start thinking about it and said, look, I got 10 points in the trade. Why do I want to sit there and let it come back and only make 5 points? I can make 10. I'm out. That's my theory. A bird in the hand's better than 2 in the bush. So all of the stuff that I'm talking to you about, and I'm putting it in different terms that Saul does, but if you listen to him day in and day out, he's telling you the same thing. Keep your stops in, trade the level. I'd be suspicious at the 50 now since we've been this close. There's just, we've been back up to the blue band. We're trading kind of on both sides of that blue band. So we've been to the blue band enough to the day. It's kind of like Saul says, look, we've been to the well more than once today. So anytime we go back to that well, those probabilities will go down. First time to it, just like a level, we'll take it. Second time to it, we still may take it, but then that's where it's going to fall on you as an individual to make that decision, because we've given you the levels. We've led you to where the water is, but we can't make you drink. Thank you. I'm from Texas. Yeah, the big T. And I guess that's all. I guess I've taken enough classes, and I don't get me wrong. I love taking uh, trading classes. Out of all of them that I've ever taken, I've always learned something from them. But one of the things that I found out is, look, what we do here may not fit your personality. You may not like this, and if you don't like what we're doing, it's not that it's wrong or it's bad, because I don't believe there's a right or wrong answer, because everybody out there is looking for the holy grail. Uh, it's just that it's not right for you. And if it's not right for you, I found out that, look, if it doesn't fit your personality, you're not going to trade it. Or you're going to get to a level and you're going to be pulling out on these ones that we bounce 10 points off of. We don't ever know when they're going to bounce. We have areas that we're looking for this market to react from. I mean, before the market opened up this morning, I could have gave you areas that, look, I'm looking for reactions around these areas. One of them was a 68. Another one was 63 and 58, and then a 53. And if you look, we've reacted around every one of those things today. Sometimes they go past them, sometimes they don't. But I expect this to run back up to the 71, but I don't know how, and I don't have a place to jump in at. Would I sell the 74? No, not this time. And there again, we've been there once. That level is it doesn't mean that we won't go with a 74 and turn down. We're starting to get on the other side of the blue band. If we stay above, if you look at this where we were at in that blue band the first round, we were below that blue band. That would have been a good place to sell. But if we're above that blue band and we're going into that 74, then no, I'd start having to look for there should be a little resistance at 73, 74 area. Some more up at probably 82 to 84. Then Saul has at the 80. He's got an 88 level. If we could get to 69.50, we've only been to 69.25. We need to get to 69.50 to see that 71. If we make it up to 71, then we should see the 73. But what it should. Yep, too many trips to the well. That's it. And and a lot of it is look, we're okay. We want to trade. We want to trade. Okay, there's nothing wrong with wanting to trade. Where are you going to trade at? Where are you going to trade at? I could possibly see us coming all the way back down into 61, 62 area. But I don't, I would have had to use the 68 to with about a 70 stop. And I also have that 71 up there. So it's kind of like now I'm starting to see numbers on both sides of the spectrum, and I can't tell you which way we're going to go. So we have to wait. We're at 10 o'clock. Europe's starting to shut down between now and 10:30, 10:45, and we ought to see uh, another move here. I'm really looking to see that 71, but you know, if you jump in this market, you're guessing. And we're going to have to get above that 68. That's what we're looking for. Uh, yeah, I think we're, it's tradable. Uh, I'm looking to get back to the 70 or 71 area. Uh, if you were to buy the 68s, 67 area, uh, it'd be a quick scalp, but you're going to have, it's a risky scalp. And, or you're going to have to believe in that level to really. And the question is where you're wrong at. And now we get to see if they're going to take it all the way back to 58 again. See, that's true. It might, it's pretty choppy. But no, we don't look at volume. Uh, I mean, what we look at is what's on the chart. That's what I'm telling you. I'm seeing numbers above and below. The Dow's up, the Nasdaq and the ES is down. And we got to the 58. It might do it. I've got a little support down to 55 right now. This is where you get into trouble trading not at a level. I still believe in that 70, 71 area, but right now it's going downhill. And let's see, we had 59, we had a level at. We're trading down here 58, 59. The level it's already been hit, so we're not really using it again, but we've been up through it and it's coming down. It's kind of like the 58's acting like a little support in this area. And I would expect us to see 55. And if we can get back above here, then I would expect to see 63. So it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to have a stop to protect yourself. And I am bad about running without stops. And I can tell you from personal experience, don't do that. It sucks. I mean, I can look over and be 20, 25 points down and just cringe and going, why did I do that? That was the dumbest move of the day. When I could have lost 4 points or 5 points, even 10 points at that point in stage, just would have been great. No, I got to ride this horse all the way into the dirt. Yeah, that's me. It's what's the old saying? We buy you books and all you do is eat the covers. I'm going, yep, that's me. I sure didn't learn anything from it. And, if you can get into the mindset, look, we don't really care what the market's doing. If we got a legitimate reason to trade, and we've got several reasons to trade, and we take the trade, and the trade works out, great. If the trade doesn't work out, get out. Look for, it's in the case I just described where I'm, 20, 25 points down. I would have been better off getting out instead of waiting for it to come back and getting in at a lower price and making all that money to the upside. And so, yeah, you may take a 5-point hickey on the downside, but then you're going to make 25 points on the upside because you'll catch it. It just takes a while. It is. It is. That's the part that is, as traders, that we can't control other traders because everybody's got their own mindset. I mean, we can tell you what we're doing, but we can't tell you what you're going to do. I guess I was reading an article the other day by one of the psychologists, and he's talking about trust. He said, trusting in yourself is probably one of the hardest things to do. Let's see, where should we come back to at a minimum? Hmm. 62, 63 area is probably a pretty good area to come back to. Yeah. And so, you've got to like the trading system. And we're back to the 62. So if you like what we're doing and you can trust what we're doing, then but that's all we do. We come in the morning and throw the numbers out there and we trade the numbers. Now, we don't trade these things all day long. It's just kind of like, okay, I made my money in the first hour, and here we are coming on the second hour at 9:30. I mean 10:30. We're going to be 2 hours into this thing. It's kind of like, things start slowing down. I like to kind of trade till after Europe gets kind of out of the way, because I would imagine that big down bar was people in Europe. They were long position. They said, okay, we're not going to hold overnight. Let's everybody start getting out. So they start getting out and the market falls. That's just my assumption. Is that what truly happened? I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't know. I love to see the market make big moves, either up or down. Then you go to the news and they're trying to tell you why it did that. I says, why couldn't you tell me this before? We're back up there at that blue band again. The question is what it's going to do with it. I have no idea. Uh, yeah, I mean, if all you lost was 2 points, hey, you did good. And sometimes a 2 point target in this volatility is kind of tough because the market. I mean, if you look at the average two range of these bars, a 5 minute bar, uh, they're way more than 2 points. So you could actually be right in just the normal gyration. Let's see. You need another level to trade and make it back, but not enough of a move yet. Well, I cheated. I've been trading the 68s. I mean, the 58s. Because I told you this more a while ago, I had 58, 63, 68, 73, and 78. That's before the market even opened this morning. So, and our blue band is sitting at 64. Saul has 67. I had 68. We're going to have to get past this blue band to get back to that 71 area. So I'm not trading levels. I'm trading price action. Yeah, KG. Hold on here. I can put the levels up there for you. Here you go. If you look in the chat, the levels are posted again. Well, good. Our goal, we've got to trade these levels too. If the levels aren't working, then we're out of business. It doesn't mean they're going to work 100% of the time because it's just trading. I've chased that holy grail and that goose that laid the golden egg for years, and somebody else may have it, but I don't have it. So I like the idea. Look, I come in the morning. I don't care what geopolitical thing is going on. If the market's moving in that direction, that's the direction I'm trading. If I get to a level, I'm looking to short that market or go long that market. I don't care. And I'll tell you something else. Saul gives these levels out, and you get so wrapped up in the mornings, it's doing this, it's doing that. And you're not paying attention to what the market's doing at these price points. And I try to tell, I do it from time to time because I have a poor memory of remembering numbers. My desk is full of cheat sheets that I use. I scribble all these numbers down all over the place. One of the ways is to help you see these numbers is put you some horizontal lines on your chart every day. And if you're trading, you better have your own charts. You can't trade off of Saul's charts. I mean, you could if you could see them, but I can't see that. They're too small for me, and I've got to stretch things out to where I can see them. Yeah, well, yes and no. It is, but there's trades within this system that are continuation trades. They are trades from level one to the level above, or the level above back to down to the level one. That's considering the price action part of it. Most of these things, we're expecting the market to move, hit an area, and you're right, counter trend off that area. But we're here to scalp that counter trend. So that's what we're doing. But You can be directional. Right now, I'm directional. You know, uh, the question is where are you directional from? I had to have that an area to get long at. Where am I directional to? I've already told you I like that 70-71 area. So it's going to see what happens up here at 68. Uh, if we make it back to 68, I may say, enough's enough. See, we had a little reaction off that 68. So a lot of it is learning to pay attention to what the market is doing. I'm trying to get back up to the 70-71 area, but uh 68's not a bad spot to bail this thing. I mean, let's see, we made it to 69. That's good enough. There's a 70. There's just, come on, give me the 71. I hate to be wrong when I speak out of turn. But this was, the market was going down. We hit a level down there, an area that, and plus I had a bias to get back to that level based on price action, what it was doing. I had a level, I had a reason, a directional bias. And so I had several different reasons to take that trade. So, and I took the trade at 58. So, and here we are trading up at 71. It took about 15 minutes to do it. Sometimes it takes an hour or so to do these things. But the question you answer, if you are in at 58, if you were in at 59, you 59. That's 59 would have been fine. You could have used 60, anything above 60. But where are you wrong at? That's the question. And you're wrong maybe 2 points. My wrong may be 5 points or 10 points because I was looking from 58 to 71 area. I bailed the sucker up at 69. I'm going, that's okay. I'm happy. I don't have to. Do you want to be right, or you just want to be profitable? Being right carries a big price tag with it. If it works out, pat yourself on the back and says, I lucked out. It did what I thought it was going to do. And I didn't get stopped out of the trade. We're coming back up to the 74. Now you're going to get to your answer, what it's going to do at 74 there, Chris. I'll be right back. No, I'm not. I'm not trading the 74. We done been to that well enough. We should get a little reaction off of it, but you know, we're bouncing. Do I want to trade it? No. I would look for the next level up at 88. Let's see, where could we expect a little? But you know, you can see how this is reacting around the 74. I mean, if you got in, you gotta make a decision. Well, okay, what do I do now? This is a case where, okay, say you scaled in. We only went to 72, 75, but say you had the 74, you had the 73.50 and the 74.50. So you're short a 3 lot. Well, you know, if we pull back down in here to 72.50, you will have 2 points on the upper that 74.50. And if we make it to 72, you'll have 2 points on the 74. And if you made it to 71.50, you'll have 2 points on the bottom end. But you know, we done been to that well once. So even if you did trade it, there's a little bit of money to be made. You know, there's a point in there. You know, but you're not going to have all day to think. Well, it's going to go here. It's going to go there. For me, I don't want it to the downside. Not right now. Now, I can tell you this: we should come all the way back down to the 69 level. But when, I don't know. And this is the reason that I didn't want to trade the 74. But it does, like I say, it doesn't mean that this 74 is not going to turn around and just zoom down. And I could see it coming to 69. It's just that I don't want it to the short side right now. I've been long this morning coming out of that 58. I am happy. I'm ahead of the game. You know, I've been in here 2 hours. You know, not many people just get to work 2 hours and go home. It you know, if I want to be long, I don't want to be long from. It doesn't mean that but it's not showing me anything. If you would have been long, you'd have had to been long at 73.50 area. And you know, you'd only made a couple of points to the long side. But you know, it's giving you enough time. If you took the 74, it's giving you ample opportunity to scratch the trade, make a little bit. You know, you got a 3 lot on. You know, take some off. If you're, you know, if you this is the part of trading that it falls in your camp. You know, how quick can you make these decisions? How comfortable are you with making these decisions? So it's not that the 74 is a bad level, except we've already been there once. This is a second time to the well. See, if you would have, this is the part that nobody knows. Okay, if you'd have held it, you'd have had 2 points just about on every one of your 3 lots in there. So if nothing else, you can. Is he going to get to that 150? Come on. It should. You should get 69. But we got to 150. So if you had a 3 lot on, there was the capabilities was to make at least on 2 of them 4 points. And And on the last one, you got a decision to make. Do you go ahead and just take whatever it's going to give you right here? Are you going to move your stop to break even? Or are you going to keep that stop, up above that high? Uh, these are things that we cannot do for you. You have to learn to manage this money on your own because it's your account. Your risk tolerance is going to be different. And so, I have enough bad mistakes on my side alone to probably fill a book. And when I'm saying, look, y'all, please listen to me. Don't do this because it doesn't work. Well, it may work for somebody else. Let's put it this way. All it does is cost me a lot of money. And if you can take and control your losses instead of it costing you a lot of money, costing you a little bit of money, you'll be money ahead. That's this money you're not taking out of your account and throwing away because you didn't want to run a stop. You didn't want to get stopped out. I want to be right. Well, I want to be right too, but it has a very high price to go along with it. And it's not so much the price tag that goes along with it. It's just when you get hit with a big drawdown like that, you're looking at it, and if you get out, you're looking at your account and says, why did I just take $1,000 loss or a $500 loss? That was dumb. Then the psychological part kicks in. Yeah, 4 to 5 point stops. Yeah, that's about right. And so, and really and truly, you can trade it with tighter stops, but in this volatility with this market, you're probably going to end up getting stopped out more often. So that's yeah, if you trade a lot and you're stopped out a whole bunch and you're not making any money, just you're dying. What's the old day? You're dying 1,000 deaths by paper cuts. But you're just overdoing it. You notice Saul comes in the morning, he trades, and about 10 o'clock, he says, okay, I'll be back. And he never shows back up. Well, there's a reason for that, and two is you think about this. If you make and I'll be honest with you, I've never seen his trading account. I don't have any idea how many lots he trades. I know when I first started with him there, he would trade 5 and 10 lots back then, but the volatility was less. But he also knows, it's like he said, the 50. If you're trading a 5 lot, back it up. Trade a 2 lot or just a 1 lot, You don't know what it's going to do and you don't have a feel for it. Say, okay, if it does this, I'm just going to trade this. Well, the answer to your 74 question is hey, 74 worked. But if you got in at 74, we went to 76. Question is did you get stopped out if you're running a 2-point stop? So any of these levels, we have no idea if they're going to work or not.